Imagine a quiet room at the end of a long day. The sun is beginning to set. The light on the wall is soft and still. A person sits at a desk that is covered in papers and notes. They have been moving all day. They have been answering calls and writing messages. Their body feels tired from the effort. There is a simple desire to understand the nature of this tiredness. We often look back at our hours and try to gain clarity. We want to know if the energy we spent has led to a real change. It is a natural wish to see the value in our time. A soft misunderstanding often occurs here. It is an intellectual confusion between movement and progress. If a person is moving quickly, they often assume they are moving forward. If a person is tired, they often assume they have achieved a result. But movement is not always progress, and effort is not always a result. The main idea is that being productive is different from being busy. Productivity is about the end state of a task. It is about something being finished that was not finished before. Busyness is simply about the volume of activity. It is the speed of the engine, regardless of whether the car is in gear. To understand this change in perspective, we can look at an everyday analogy. Think of two people who decide to walk for 1 hour. The first person steps onto a treadmill in a gym. They set the speed and begin to move. Their heart rate increases. They spend a great deal of energy. The second person walks out their front door and down a forest path. They move at the exact same speed as the person on the treadmill. They spend the exact same amount of energy. When the hour is over, both people stop. The person on the treadmill is in the exact same spot where they started. The scenery around them has not changed. The person on the path is now 3 miles away from their home. They have reached a new clearing or a view of a lake. Both were busy with the act of walking, but only the person on the path was productive in changing their location. We can look at the scale of this using a simple math example. Imagine two people who both have 10 hours of time to give to a project. Person A spends their 10 hours performing 100 small actions. These actions are like moving pebbles from one pile to another and back again. At the end of 600 minutes, the piles look the same. Person B spends their 10 hours on a single focused task. It is a difficult task that requires all of their attention. At the end of those same 600 minutes, a project is finished, a book is written, or a house is painted. The math of the effort is the same. 10 hours equals 10 hours, but the math of the result is different. One is 0, the other is 1. This leads to a sense of calm clarity. We can observe that the feeling of being busy is often just the feeling of energy leaving the body. It does not tell us what was built with that energy. To understand productivity, we must look away from the person and look at the work itself. We ask if the work is in a different state than it was in the morning. This is an educational takeaway about the nature of time. Time is a neutral resource. It can be filled with movement that goes nowhere, or it can be used to move a single object to its destination. Understanding this allows us to accept that some quiet days are more productive than some loud ones. A person sitting still and finishing a thought may achieve more than a person running through a hallway. The result of this understanding is a quiet acceptance of the numbers. We can look at the path and the treadmill without judgment. We see that the system of effort is separate from the system of results. Clarity comes from seeing which system we are measuring at any given time. This content is for the purpose of explaining the relationship between activity and outcomes. It is an observation of how resources like time and energy are distributed. By focusing on the end state, the difference between them becomes clear. Disclaimer: this content is for educational purposes only, not financial advice.